structured form, and that is primary data collection method. Then comes a secondary data collection method. It is very difficult, very time consuming, money consuming to do primary data all the time. So one fall back on secondary data collection method. Now if it is done for the office, for example, then you could do it internally and look at the earlier product sales analysis, do the financial analysis, go through that, go through the project reports done so far. And internally you come to a conclusion and your research is done. External, you can fall back on your library, you can fall back on the published matter, you can also fall back on people who have earlier done primary data collection and see that and then arrive at a conclusion for your research. So these types of methods can be used for collecting the data. Now once the data has been collected, then it has to be processed. If the processing is wrong, it's like a link between the first 6 of them and the next 3 of them. So if this processing is not right, then all the effort goes really down the drain. It's processing of data. Here computers, statisticians all come into picture. You have to do editing, like for example, if you are on the field and if you want to immediately edit the questionnaire, then you edit on the field, and if it can wait and you can go for a central where all the questionnaires get accumulated and a person is there editing it. So either on the field or in the central, then you have to code it, give the numbers, give it a code. It becomes easy to feed it in the computer later on. Then classify, maybe in the age, in form of income, you can classify it. Then if you want to make it a tabulation form and a table form, then you do the tabulation form of it. It becomes easy then to analyze it, which is the next step, analysis of data. In analysis of data, there are various analysis that you can opt for. The first one is the descriptive analysis. In descriptive analysis, after you have done your processing of data, you see the data and then you find the mean, that is the average, okay, average part of it. Or you go in for the median. Median is how frequent that number is coming. Mode, measure of dispersion, how is it away from the central point, how much of a dispersion it is. All this is a descriptive analysis. Now in inferential analysis, the testing of the hypothesis is done, whether what you had earlier said, whether that is right or wrong. If the probability at the end of the calculation is less than 0.05, that's 0.05, if it is less than 0.05, that's 5, not even 5%, then the chances, it should be less than 0.05, for that research to really tick off. If the probability is 0, that means that event will never happen. And if the probability is equal to 1, that means that event will surely happen. This is a little bit of technical part. I'm trying to deal it a little in an easy manner. Then comes the third one, that is relational analysis. Under this you have univariate analysis. Here there is one variable only. You have to look after one variable. For example, murder. So you go and you decide he's a murderer. Okay, so one, he's a murderer. Second bivariate is there are two variables here. He's a murderer and he's also mean. So what will you give him? What punishment? The third is multivariate analysis, where more than 3 variables are there. For example, he is a murderer, he was mean to, and he also carried a gun. So it's quite intentional, so the cause and the effect part of it. So more than 2. So such type of analysis is carried about. Now the example may not be that right, but more importantly is to understand that how the variables change in this variable, in this different analysis. Now once you analyze the whole thing, then you go to the 9th one, and the 9th one is generalization and interpretation. Whether it can be generalized in the same situation, will that thing happen again and again? Can you form a theory? Can you come to a conclusion that will be dealt in this generalization and interpretation? So if your processing of the data is good and if the analysis of data is good, Then on this depends your generalization and interpretation. And then we come to the last point, this preparing a report. Now preparing a report, as it says up, is an art. You do this while having, when you write your dissertation, when you write your thesis for your PhD, doing your MPhil, you prepare your report, and basically it is divided into three parts. The first part is preliminary page, where you write the title of your research, your acknowledgement where you thank everybody, table of contents, what are the contents of that whole thesis, the list of tables and illustration, if you have any tables put up there, illustrations, then you give all the list of that in the preliminary page. Then you go to the main text where you write the introduction, what was your research, what was your findings, what is the main report and implications, what was your conclusion and summary. So briefly you you come to the core point of it. That's the main text, and then you go to the end matter of your writing, where you write your appendix. You can put up in your appendix, you can put up all the for example the questionnaires you have collected. You can put up the format of it, then the bibliography, whom you really want to thank, in the sense you have collected material from different books, the source of it, the index part of it. All this has to be done, thought about initially in the research plan. So before you actually sit and think about doing a research, go through in your mind what should be the research plan, and then get into action. This is the thinking part of it, the theory part of it. If the theory part of it, if you get it right, then when you do your dissertation, when you write your thesis, you would not go wrong. When you're in the field collecting your samples, you will get a major help, major boost if this 10 points of yours is proper. Thank you for listening to Research and Methodology. I hope this is helpful to you. I would try and put a copy of this, scan and put a copy of this on YouTube. But my major subject is Yoga's Patanjali Yoga Sutra, where I take a 6 days crash course in Mumbai, Chembur, India. And if you are interested, do write to me at v3ps@rediffmail.com. That is v3ps@rediffmail.com. This is Praveena Shetty signing off from this page of Research and Methodology. Thanks for your patience.